7:25 on this soggy Tuesday morning. Time for your business news with Mike Apple. Good morning, Mike. Looks beautiful there in Toronto this morning.
We're getting some nice weather. It's subject to change, however, I hear from the forecast.
So if you look at the markets, Mike, you think the pandemic never happened.
It's remarkable. We saw the tech stocks yesterday hit record highs. The TSX, the Canadian benchmark, is down just 5% for the year. I mean, our economy has been crushed under the weight of the pandemic, and yet and all, the markets have been extremely resilient, betting on the rebound. They've had all sorts of injections, of course, from central banks, and all that money's flowing into stocks as well. But let's face it, the real economy is still dramatically below where it would typically be from a business standpoint. It's a province by province basis on the reopening. The GTA, for example, the Greater Toronto Area, is still pretty much in a shutdown, whereas other parts of Ontario, for example, are being allowed to open. It's completely regional, and the same thing in the United States a little bit too. And the labor market, of course, has been crushed under the weight of this thing, Mary. And millions of jobs are still waiting in the wings to come back. So the stock market disconnect from the actual economy remains quite pronounced. And this morning we are seeing the Dow down about 300 points. So maybe people are kind of going, yeah, this thing's gone way too far, too fast to the upside, and maybe a reality check is underway.
And also this morning, for the first time ever, we are looking at a 1.99% fixed 5-year mortgage. What does this mean?
Yeah, the HSBC setting that yesterday and saying, look, we've got record lows when it comes to the bond market. So the big banks, from a borrowing standpoint, can offer these extremely attractive interest rates. But then it's kind of this, mixed signals, I suppose. On one hand, it's something to get people to buy into the real estate market or refinance. Let's face it, people can use this to refinance, and maybe some of the other big banks will follow the lead of the HSBC. But then the Canada Mortgage and Housing Corporation last week adjusted the restrictions or tightened it up for people to get into the real estate market from a borrowing standpoint. And then you've still got some thinking that after the deferrals, a lot of Canadians have deferred their mortgage payments because the banks have allowed them to do so. Those are all going to be coming due August and September. So is that going to have, some saying, well, we held on as long as we could, and we might have to sell. So the real estate market is certainly, again, in a big phase of adjustment, but borrowing costs are coming down.
All right, real quick, Mike. I know my grandpa is going to be happy about this. Tim Hortons planning for new patios of up to 1,000 locations. Yeah,
well, look, you can't, for the most part, eat inside a restaurant now, and some new data this morning indicating that a lot of Canadians aren't even comfortable with the idea of getting back into a restaurant seating environment. And again, that depends on the province, depends where provinces have reopened and others haven't. But Tim Hortons says, look, the weather's nice outside. Hey, let's take a little bit of space from maybe the parking lot and put up some tables and some umbrellas and take advantage of it. It's seasonal. May as well do it while they can. And then by maybe the fall, things will be back to normal when we can actually go into a Tim's or any restaurant for that matter and sit down and have a cup of coffee.
Hopefully. All right, I'm looking forward to that. Thank you so much, Mike. Have a great day. Enjoy the weather. 7:28 now on Breakfast Television. We're going to take a break. We'll have more of your top stories coming up. Stay with us.